The New Patriotic Party has accused the National Democratic Congress of manipulating a tape involving a conversation between a Supreme Court judge, Justice Emmanuel Yoni Kolendi, Attorney General Godfrey Dame, and a third accused in the ambulance case, Richard Jakpa. The third accused, Richard Jakpa, alleged in open court that Godfrey Dame approached him multiple times seeking his assistance to implicate the first accused, Dr. Ato Forson. Dr. Forson, a former deputy finance minister and current minority leader, has been dragged to court by the state for his alleged role in the procurement of faulty ambulances for Ghana. Now, while dismissing the claims by the third accused, the Attorney General insisted that Richard Jakpa had instead sent several letters requesting a plea bargain in a bid for the state to drop all charges against the accused persons. He added that the proposal had not yet been accepted. Okay, now, in a Facebook post on Monday, 27th May, the national organizer of the MPP, Henry Nana Boache, otherwise known as Nana B, stated that the AG attended the meeting at the behest of Justice Emmanuel Yoni Kolendi, which occurred in his residence. He indicated that the full recording would establish that the AG never requested Richard Jakpa to skew his testimony. All right. Now, let me come to you, Paul. This is getting messier and murkier as the days go by. Right. I think if the state, based on what we read yesterday, if the state had accepted Big C Trading Limited's offer of repaying, that is reimbursing the government for expenses made for ambulances that were not of value to the state, we wouldn't be here by now. But there seems to be a lot of things being uncovered in this as things proceed.
Grogu, once again, good morning and good morning to our viewers. The Attorney General is clothed with both statutory and constitutional responsibilities. You are supposed to be the legal, in fact, the foremost legal advisor to the government and the people of Ghana, as well as the justice.
Yeah. Yeah, rightly so.
Of the rule of law. All right? So, first question I want to ask is, how is the security of Richard Jakpa like? Is he safe? I think the state must move to make sure Richard Jakpa is safe. And I'm saying so because he seems to be the bone of contention at this point. And we must, as a nation, put our resources and everything into making sure Richard is safe. Now, having said that, the Attorney General's reputation is on the line. And yesterday in our discussion, I did say that he should step aside and allow the case to travel the length that it has to travel to. I stated it yesterday.
Yeah.
And I'm still going to reinforce that call. That listen, this is a man we have known over the period as a Deputy Attorney General who has handled cases, of very high standing. And we can tell from his demeanor that he is a very positive mind and his intelligence cannot be put to question. However, by the revelation in court by Richard Jakpa, it even puts the cases he's handled over the period into question. Because this claim by Richard goes to reinforce the point that is it also possible that the many cases he may have handled in one way or the other may have also put some witnesses into that posture, into getting what he wanted. So these are speculations that are possible on the minds of people. So I am asking, and even joining hands with the good Professor Ansa Asare, that he resigns and save the little image that he has. Because you can't say that the gentleman, you were invited to Justice Kolendi's house when the witness, the third accused, Richard Jakpa, requested for the plea bargaining. We all know, I'm not a lawyer, but we all know that when it comes to plea bargaining, it has to either be the chamber of the justice or you, the Attorney General, your chambers.
Okay.
So either of this is allowed. But at the ministry, that is the allegation from Richard, that it was held at the ministry. So since it was held at the ministry, there is every point to be made that it is most likely that whatever he's saying must be the truth. So step aside, maybe Shraj can also come in here and establish. I've heard people call for a bipartisan probe into the issue, inviting Parliament to set up a committee of some sort to go into the issue, or maybe we setting up a national form of committee, to look into the issue. But I think that this falls right at the doorstep of Shraj. If they can come in to establish or otherwise that whatever Richard is saying is the truth or not, then we go by it. All right? We know it to be an independent, non-partial body that we've trusted over the period. We can trust same, in their hands with this case, so that they delve deeper into the issue, ascertain whether or not there are any facts whatsoever that is being channeled by Richard in open court, because we have the recordings at the court proving whatever Richard said. And that is why I'm asking that the state goes to make sure Richard's safety is secured, so that at the end of the day, we can establish that the Attorney General did not make such claim, or indeed such claims were made. We are told today that the NDC will be holding a press conference to give us a lot more revelation into the matter. We do not know what they have. But as far as we are concerned, we are dealing with what transpired in the court, what was said in the court. He has made allegations against the Attorney General, and we expect the Attorney General to either resign or just step aside and allow the case to travel the length it ought to travel. That is my initial submission.
Well, all right, let's come over to Kabete of Kansi. Good morning, Kabete.
Good morning, sir.
How you doing?
I'm very fine.
Yeah.
I'm very fine. I think it's time we look at this towing service, a national towing service, and also ensure that we pay little at the DVLA point to ensure that these cars that break down on our major roads are cleared in no time. A lady was driving this morning, and then she had a little problem, and I could see most of the vehicles just driving, meandering their way just to, find their way. But I thought if there was a standby tow service, it should be just a call to that center for them to clear such a thing. I think it's important. That said, a very good morning to all your viewers, and I think I've heard the discussions ongoing, and I'm loving it. The case itself should not have happened, just considering the facts around it, like we've all agreed. It was a matter of delegation of duty from a minister to his deputy. His deputy took the action. Ironically, on the other side of it is that it was not the ministry's final work. It was the final work of another ministry who actually had to go and get the invoices, bring it over, and then present it to convince, So who convinced who to issue the LC? You don't just bring a paper. You have to actually convince the Ministry of Finance. Somebody called the Minister of Finance and convinced them that we need X amount of ambulances, and we have collected from these companies. We suggest you give for this company. So that bidding and winning a contract, was it the Ministry of Finance that did that one? Let's go through what I mean. That's for another day. But for me, I think when you pick the LC and you pick the supply, there was a shortfall. Clearly, that's why we are here. That difference, that cost, is the reason why that company themselves said, look, bring it. I'll make room and pay for it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, in the world of supplies, this is actually not going to be like a criminal case. It's a supply. There are defects. If the supplier says, look, I'm not going to pay, that is where you make it a case, a commercial court, and then you go and handle this matter. But this one, he says, look, I'm ready to take the cost. And then we found ourselves where we are. I would advise that, you know, on that side of it, we go and take the offer and then clear that financial loss to the state. But while we go ahead, the claims by this gentleman who is in court standing, I'm perturbed. I'm confused. I'm bemused.
Why?
I am accusing him of stealing something, and I call him for a meeting. If I knew about such meetings and the effect of such meetings, would I go to court? Look, let me
was requesting for that meeting. The claim is that Richard was rather requesting for that meeting,
but
and not the Attorney General.
If he requested, if I have a lawyer and you accuse me,
Yes.
my lawyer and yourself, we can tell the judge that we wanted, there are options. We can go for an ADR. Or, look, we are not lawyers, but indeed, with all due respect, we are not stupid.
Yeah,
right.
I'm just also wondering that if what Nana B is saying is true, which that the meeting was held in Justice Yoni Kulendi's house.
Yes.
Right. No, you can't go to his house except you are invited.
Is that a court?
You know.
No. I'm saying, Kulendi's house, is it a court?
Well, he is a justice.
No. So his house becomes a court.
Is he?
No.
Let me help
please.
you.
No, this one, I won't let anybody take my second.
I get your
this
point.
case, I won't share a second with anybody.
What is the
let
court?
me go. Let me flow.
Let me just add you something. Let me add something to it.
Is that a court?
No.
What is the
When
court?
it comes to plea bargaining.
Look, let's get serious in this country. Is his house a court?
Jeff,
Or all of a sudden, his place is better a court than you see, we had options. We had options to sit down, discuss. I told you yesterday, in the whole dealing, that it was a time for us to come together as a country. That if by the LC, the supply had defects, call the supplier and take the differences.
Yeah.
And the difference is that somebody has come back and said, oh, what I supplied had defects, I'm ready to pay up. You decided to go to this extent of going to the court. The matter is in court, and you call people to meet. A para court or a sideline court. When the football match is going on, you say we are going to do training. Training. Look, let's stop joking. We'll handle this matter with seriousness. And with gross alacrity. The public court will also have our views. We will not delve into the matter in court, but we are saying, look, the accusations by Jakba is not sacrosanct. Okay? And it must be investigated. Let's take it down. That, you know, we won't encourage a state where people will just wake up and accuse people and then will jump on board. You know, you've accused the person. But he had the strength. You see, in my whole cast we say truth and courage. Truth gives you courage. And when you go to Vandal City, they said truth stands. The accounts will add it on for us finally that no kre e bako. No kre enye mienu, enye miensa, enye nine, e bako. What pushes him to say this one? When he said it, people have started talking. You see, if he had said this happened and then there was nobody talking, the meeting didn't happen at all. That is there's no matter to discuss. But you see, when he said it, people have started talking. He's pressed the knob, and the knob is making effects.
Yes.
Thank you. And so we'll handle that side. The meeting was also not a form like a norm. When the case was still in court, is the AG, with all respect, is he a consultant or a priest? I know when matters are going on, we go to the chief's house to go and settle them. Is he a chief? Is he a priest? Because in Ghana we know when court cases come, they can come and call you and say, oh, is that what they were doing? Or what were they doing? Is that the norm? Anyway. That when an AG of the state has decided that these people, they have actually done us in. Do you see where the man was coming from? That this man has actually caused us losses. Even though somebody is ready to pay for the loss, he said, no, 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 no. Let us still pursue them because we want to approach the canker of stealing. Okay? And so you go ahead and then you are seen in a meeting. The fact that you are even meeting with the person, I have a matter with you. The fact that the one you accuse of stealing or causing financial calls you for what? The AG of this country, the Attorney General, somebody who has caused us financial losses, inviting at the behest of a person, but not in the person's house, in another justice's house. Look, this matter must go far. Look, he has actually affected his office and his own image. It doesn't end with his image. Yeah. The office of the AG, that we as a country, the world is watching Ghana, a country whose AG, after taking people to court, that they should be jailed for causing financial loss, the AG will go to another meeting, a side meeting, not a court. That's why I'm asking you whether with all due respect, where they went, was it a court? Or they all of a sudden became consultants or priests or chiefs to come and do the traditional one or to do the religious one? What were they doing with the man? The man you said, you look, after this case, that man, his image is dented. Yeah. Yes. In Ghana, they will say, oh, they will go to court, they said they've freed you. You think everybody will hear and read about it? Somebody will read when you were accused, might not read when you were freed or when you were actually cleared. And that will be the image. Your children will suffer it, your wife, your family. And such a person that you have painted black. Now you go to his black conference. To do what? AG. My brother, I'm not talking about a court. Sorry, a lawyer. The Attorney General of the Republic of Ghana.
The lead lawyer of
the lead lawyer of the state. Yeah. After accusing the people and going to court to put them there. In fact, if you want me to use, legally nailing them to the cross. He goes to meet them in a side meeting. That was not for the state. That is not the norm. Well, this is the first time I'm hearing this one.
Well,
it's legal. It's legal. Plea bargaining.
Former head of the
plea bargaining.
Yes. Former head of
they were plea bargaining. Yes. Oh, he's brought a term. I would like to travel a little bit today.
Yes. So, like I was saying,
they were plea bargaining.
No, the accused requested for that plea bargaining. What that means is that it can only take place one at the chambers of the Attorney General, or at the chambers of the trial judge. So the question we need to ask ourselves is Justice Kulendi the trial judge? That should be the only question there. If it's indeed established by Nanabi's assertion.
The legal one you just mentioned is plea bargaining.
Yes.
At the behest of some people you've mentioned. I will never go, I won't be tempted to go there. I've told you about the Court of Public Opinion.
The case should rather travel.
I said, I have not seen an AG send Ghanaian who is caught in a web of causing financial loss to the state. Have a meeting, a side meeting, apart from the court one that is running. You have one that you can give me as an example?
Not that I know of.
Yeah,
but it is legal. It's a legal practice.
So when it happens for the first time, what do we call it?
It's still a legal practice to request for plea bargaining.
But you showed me where those ones are supposed to happen. So this one that didn't conform with that one means this one is not the norm. Do you get it? We are supposed to train on the football field. Now people are training in somebody's hall. And you are telling me that because training is accepted, I should accept this one. Now I'm telling you, once you have said that the training happens on a football pitch, then this one is not part of what you are saying. Banku can never be cakey. Just because they are all made from Komdo. Banku can never be cakey. Let us not mix the two. Apples look round, oranges look round, but they have separate names. The situations under which we are putting this case, let's separate them. Who called the meeting? And the impression, the image that was given, that these people had done us in. The case was so serious, we were so happy that we're taking them on. Then all of a sudden, the AG of the Republic of Ghana has a side meeting with them. I am saying, to my view, as a personal sidestep person, I step aside and I watch. And my view tells me that, look, this is not the norm that I know. That when AG still take people on for causing financial loss to the state, they hold separate meetings. In that view, I say, if he wants to protect the sanctity of the office, I mean, stepping aside for some few weeks won't have
let me read a quote from a former Director General of the Ghana Law School.
Right, sir.
A quote. He says here, my stake in the matter, this is coming from Kweku Ansari.
Right.
My stake in the matter is that given the surrounding circumstances of this matter, there is every moral justification for the Attorney General to quit his job and save his hard-earned reputation.
Right.
I respect him. He was one of our brightest students, and from day one, I have followed with keen interest in his performance as an Attorney General. When he was appointed, I recall inviting him and counseling him to make sure that he did not soil his hands. If you ask him, he will bear witness, he stated. Mr. Ansari criticized the Attorney General's handling of the plea bargaining process, stating that such negotiations should occur within the confines of the Attorney General's or the trial judge's chambers, not at the ministry. He argued also that no positive outcome could emerge from any form of inquiry, be it parliamentary, judicial, or executive. Instead, Godfrey Dame should be made to confront the legal proceedings in court where he can defend himself before an impartial judge rather than through a politically charged commission of inquiry. I'll end the quote here. There's more, actually.
I think from what you just read,
Yeah.
you clearly can see that the learned professor is trying to tell you, look, I had a student in whom I placed my trust, in whom I placed my academic approval, and I told him to work without trouble, you know. So he sees a little trouble in this one. Then moving aside, I think that's where I agree with him the more, that I called for him to as the AG, step aside. Two things can happen when he does that gentleman's move. One, it will allow his deputy to take over and handle this very case. That is very important because, I mean, people have actually, I mean, at the end of the day, people will not even trust the judgment if he was still in front of it, you know. And then to also allow himself to be cleared. I think for the committee, the senior man is saying, I mean, you know, once, like I said in the early one, it's not about just being accused and then we all held, we just hellbound, pull you today that look, hey, you are not the clean one. We have to allow the processes again to go through and clear him from for his own good. For me, Baba, for me, as we sit here, I've told you that look, once the matter was in court, I don't think it was a norm. I've not seen it happen before. So for this one, once you decided to go into the meeting, on a lighter note, as Ghanaians will say, you know, because the matter, why you didn't trust the cost? Like he said, they have their legal ways of maybe healing processes. Maybe try to look at the alternatives. So, well, if that is what led into this trouble, clear yourself, allow your deputy to take over and do this case in particular, and then when you are cleared, you can always come back and take over. Okay, that's what I think.
Paul,
Okay, quick,
yes.
just a quick one.
Yes.
In 2021, I just want to read something for all of us to appreciate. The passage, I beg your pardon, the passage of the Criminal and Other Offences Procedure Amendment Bill 2021, however, ushers into Ghana a new era of plea bargaining. So on Friday, 24 June 2022, Parliament passed the bill to amend the Criminal and Other Offences Act 1960, to formally incorporate plea bargaining firmly into the administration of justice in Ghana for the first time. So they list the procedures by which a person can request for plea bargaining, and with your permission, I just want to go through quickly. The bill provides that plea negotiations can be initiated by the following: one, the accused person; B, a counsel for the accused person; a prosecutor in charge of the prosecution of an accused person. I hope you heard that. And then those of us who want to appreciate plea bargaining, it refers to the process in the criminal justice system where an accused person negotiates an agreement to relinquish the right to go to full trial in exchange for a more lenient sentence or some other benefit. So this is what I was trying to explain, that first and foremost, it should have happened either at the chambers of the Attorney General or the trial judge.
Right.
At this point, we cannot tell for a fact that Justice Kolendi is the trial judge.
Right.
So if it is so established that indeed the meeting took place at the residence of Justice Kolendi and not his chambers, well, chambers can also be debated.
The chamber can be in his house.
House or even at his office, right?
Yeah, it's acceptable.
So if it is established that indeed he is the trial judge, then we have no issue.
All right.
But at this point, at
But
this
you know,
material
offices,
time,
some people, their offices are people's houses that they have bought.
well,
So I mean, it
at
can
this
look like a
material
house.
time, we cannot tell whether it was Justice Kolendi.
No, but I mean, we are with
who
you.
is the
The
trial
office
judge.
could look like a house.
All right.
You know, most of these
I'm just saying,
CSO and
I'm
NGO
just saying.
offices are like
I'm
houses.
just saying.
NDC says that
He
they
has more
are
evidence.
going to drop filler today, so we're waiting to see.
No, you heard about you heard about the early ones. I mean, anytime there's a voiceover, people come back and say it's a doctored tape.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing that drama
Oh,
unfolding.
but you can't just claim Dr. Tape. We know how these things work also.
Oh,
so,
sir,
so we'll listen to it.
on that score, we the judges are
we'll listen
the
to
public
it.
opinion
We'll
court.
listen to it ourselves.
We also
Most importantly, you see, the person we are discussing is no mean a person. We are discussing the Attorney General of Ghana. He has two responsibilities, not just the Attorney General,
He's also a
but he's
Minister of
also
Justice.
Justice.
All right. Okay. Let's
Two responsibilities in one.
Okay.
So you are supposed to be one unblemished and morally upright. If it is indeed established that what the accused person is saying is anything to go by, it's a huge dent on his integrity,
definitely
one as a
find out
person,
more.
and the positions he holds.
Well, if everything goes according to what we're expecting, we'll definitely find out more by close of day today. Also.